Hey everybody, it's Casual Boobs coming at you with another video, and today we're going to be covering the Super Chaffee. And before we do that real quick, sorry if I look like shit. It's because I got COVID and have COVID now, but I am a true professional, so the show must go on. Also, I had a hard drive die in my computer, so we've been through the ringer today, or this weekend, I suppose, but and sorry for not streaming. I'm just going to see if I can make it through this video, though. So, anyways, today we're going to talk about the Super Chaffee, which I believe most people have. You got this one for free if you have an account that's older than a couple of years. I don't remember exactly how many years, but they gave this out to just about everybody. And then I love the way it looks because it also looks like kind of like a chibi tank, right? But a lot of people have this, and almost universally when it came out, everyone's like, "Oh, this tank is trash," buh, and then nobody plays it. But like, it's not trash. It's actually okay. I'm not going to say that it's like the best tank at tier 6, because then that would be the Type 64. The Type 64 was released a long time ago, and they don't nerf premium tanks. So because of that, everything after the 9.18 light tank nerf, global nerf, the premium tanks that were out before then are just always going to be better. So the Type 64 is better than this tank, no question. And there are other tanks that are better than this tank, but the Super Chaffee is not trash. I'll just say it like that. It's not bad. I thoroughly enjoy. I 3-marked it in 62 battles, and actually pretty enjoyed myself quite a bit. So, anyways, without further ado, we'll get into the stats. Okay, so before we start getting into the stats of the tank, I want to just bring up, if you go to tomato.gg, you can look up the different Mark of Excellence requirements for various different tanks. It's a really great website. And you can see that if you all tier 6 light tanks, and you can sort them by their 3-mark requirements, right? And that gives you an indication of not necessarily how good a tank is, but it's a function of like how popular is a tank and how good is it, right? So the Type 64 is very good and very popular, and again, it's probably indisputably the best because it's a legacy tank. So the requirements are pretty high, right? There are tier 7 tanks with lower mark requirements than this. Then we got the Super Chaffee way down here at the bottom, of 1316 damage. That's an average damage and spotting, which is really low, criminally low. Like, that's what I'm trying to say. The tank is not this bad. It doesn't deserve this bad of this low of stats. So anyways, without further ado, we'll get into the actual the numbers. But the Super Chaffee is essentially, it's like, you know what, we'll compare it first real quick to a T-37. It's basically a worse T-37, if I recall. Yes. Let's see here. Super Chaffee. Yeah, so you get less DPM, less penetration. You get more ammo, which is nice. That's a thing. Slightly better accuracy, but worse soft stats. It's kind of a wash. I mean, the gun is potato on kind of either one of them. You do get 10 degrees of gun depression as opposed to the T-37 9, which does make a big difference. The gun elevation being 15, that doesn't come up a lot, but it does come up where if you're like, I don't know, coming down the ridge at El Haloof and you're trying to shoot up at the tanks on the next ridge, you might not be able to do that as easily as you could in something like a T-37, but again, that's not a big deal. It is slower in most ways, right? So it's lower top speed and then a T-37, but then also, you know, slightly worse ground resistances, but better power to weight. I didn't think the tank was slow, but it's certainly not like setting the world on fire fast. It was fast enough to get to the positions I needed to get to in time. You know what I mean? So I don't really have any complaints. I mean, obviously 25 power to weight is not as good as 28, and 28 is incredible. So I don't know. The Super Chaffee felt peppy to me. See here, armor is garbage. There's no armor whatsoever. Let me see here, view range of 380. That actually does come out quite a bit. So like the camo is better, slightly better than the T-37, and the view range is better. And so the base view range being a little bit better just makes it that much easier to get out to and past max view range. And if you want to get past max view range, so you can start cutting through camo, right? If some heavy tank has 5% camo and you have exactly 445 meters of view range, and they are 445 meters away from you, you will not spot them, right? So you want to have as much view range as you possibly can have, so that way you can spot everything that within your 445 meters of view range that is possible. So having a higher base view range makes that, like optics, coded optics increases your view range by 10%. Well, So that means that if your base view range is higher, your bonus to view range from optics is higher. So having a low view range makes it really hard to, it's like I don't know, pedaling through honey or something. I don't know, it's hard to get out of the sinkhole of having a low base stat when you're increasing by percentages. So I did notice the 380 view range is pretty nice. The shell cost is cheap. It's fine. So yeah, I'll get into the armor here real quick. So let me see here. It's there is none, 0 armor whatsoever, and this is really relevant because if you run up against one of the VK 28.01 with the 105, the big derp gun they gave to everybody too, those will eat you. You definitely need to pick your battles. Like this is not a thing that you can go and like heads up pretty much most things. You want to just, you're using your speed and your gun, and you're just the quintessential light tank. You're the light tank, right? You're going to be the eyes and the ears of the team, because at tier 6 nobody has, like, most tanks do not have good view range at tier 6. The view range is not saturated at tier 6, and that also means the camo can work, and your view range, if it's good enough, can also be really beneficial, and you'll see that in the video here. But yeah, you're not meant to be tanking shots, and if you get slapped by the derp gun from the VK 105, you're going to have a bad day. It's just no armor whatsoever. So the stats, let me see here. Let's get into field mods. Yeah, field mods. Okay, so I ended up going with the higher forward speed, because again, it's got the power to weight is already excellent, and you could use a little more speed. I'm always going with the aiming circle, just because, always. And I think I also went with this one with the reverse speed, because when you are popping in, moving forward and backward, trying to take shots and get out of cover and stuff, that extra 3 makes a big difference. The shell ramming damage, like, you're already going to get smoked. If somebody's shooting HE at you or they're ramming you, you're already dead. So I didn't think it mattered. And okay, so that's the field mods. For the builds, the crew that I had was decent. And so if you have paint and brothers in arms and concealment, that gets you to 29% base camo rating, which is pretty decent, especially for tier 6. So what I ended up doing was leaning into, obviously I'm a tryhard, so I run food, and I leaned into the scout role for the most part. This is the loadout I took for just about everything. I took low noise exhaust, and then coated optics, and then I think I also just picked vents just to maximize everything. And if your crew is decent and you've got the view range skills, that gets you to almost 40% camo rating on the move with 483 view range. So that's at tier 6, by the way. That'll get stuff done. So because of this is I think I ended up using actually pink stuff too, to really maximize this. God forbid if you do, if you really want to try hard with this, you can really go crazy. And it gets even dumber. Let me see here. Oh, that's not good. So you can see, if you're willing to put some pink stuff on, it gets even better, right? But all of these numbers, even without the pink numbers, the pink equipment, you are fully capable of owning people. Because if you understand how camo mechanics work and how bush mechanics work, and you have a decent crew, it's pretty incredible stuff. The stuff you can pull off and abuse is nice. So I thoroughly enjoyed playing the tank. I will say that the standard penetration is kind of crap, so I shot nothing but premium, because why not? I'm not going to sit there and bounce off of things. So I mostly did it for the shell velocity. It also gets you an extra 100 or so 200 shell velocity. That's a nice thing. The other thing is, when you're on a city map, there's a few maps, like if you had, God forbid, you got like Himmelsdorf or Ensk or something like that. I ended up going then with rammer, a vertical stabilizer, and improved aiming. And this one also really helped if you had pink. If you had pink stuff, I think I did, like I said, with this. That got you down to something like this, where 0.35 is actually, with these soft stats, the gun's pretty well behaved, right? The DPM is not exceptional, but you can plink pretty good. You can put the shots down range, and it actually does turn into a nice little, your ability to farm damage is pretty substantial. So these are the 2 builds that I used during my journey of the 3 marking, but mostly it was scouting. Mostly your job is to scout, because if you can spot a KV1 and somebody makes it explode, that's 600 spotting. All right, so that's already halfway there to what you need for the 3 mark, which is, again, stupid low. I'm hoping people will give this tank another try after I put this video out, because it definitely deserves, like, it's not bad. I really like it. It's fun. So I think I've covered everything. We've got armor build and everything else. Let's get into the game. Okay, so we're going to be starting out watching me playing in the Super Chaffee, and this is on steps, and you can see I've got I had the pink coated optics. I had a standard vents and standard low noise exhaust. So really, this is a pretty, like, I'll say not exciting, but not really too, like, exotic loadout. Most people can get their hands on what I've got here, and my crew is not that great. But you can see it definitely is peppy, right? It gets up to speed, but you do notice the lack of top speed, right? It's like, if this thing had 5 more kilometers top speed, I think it would be really, really good, next level. But, you know, take what you can get, right? And so right now I'm seeing these guys, you know, like at these tiers, we're just going to take these shots. Like the T50-2 doesn't really have that great a view range, and it's tier 6, and there's a bush right there. So I'm assuming, like, yeah, the VK did spot me, but that T50, or the T50-2 did not. So I know right away, like, what I can shoot and what I can't shoot, and if I back up any further, that T-34-85M will shoot me. But I'm assuming this VK has he's preoccupied, right? So he's not looking at me, so I can just take these shots and get some free easy damage for without really putting myself at risk at all. This is a little bit risky, but again, this is why we shoot premium, because I have a chance of penning. But yeah, that one was on me. I probably should have expected there to be something else in the back there, but and I got a little lucky with that shot as well. But we're pretty much going to be running around, running away here very soon, I have a feeling. Yeah, you can see that our left side is collapsing. The Jackson's not going to live by himself, and so this is the time to fall back. The Jackson, if he could, I think he's pretty well stuck in there because of the rock that he's chosen to go to. So he's stuck. That T-34 or T-43 is already dead. So I'm hoping to get the artillery to fall back and run away. Let me see here. It looks like the Jackson's trying to leave. This is the part that, like, you know, it sucks to leave a teammate behind or whatever, but if I just stood there, we would all just get run over. So our team does appear to be, you know, pushing down the 9-0 line, so that's really good. But my goal here is to try to spot them as they approach. So I'm going to try to knock down some of these trees so that they're not in the way. I know I have some time. I have some time to set up things the way I want them. So I'm going to knock down some of these trees so they're not in the way. I'm going to get to this really, really good spotting bush at A3, and this is where I live. This is my new home. I'm going to just try to spot these things because I've got, you know, 2 artillery, 2 tank destroyers that are going to hopefully shoot as I spot these guys as they push in. So I'm just going to sit in these bushes and be very patient. Be very patient, because I've got 400 damage and 89 spotted. So, like, this is not, like, there's a lot of tanks left. There's a lot of meat in the game left. So the last thing you want to do is, like, I don't want to take these shots and get spotted and then die, because there's a lot of tanks left. There's a lot of potential in this game, especially when you're trying to farm marks of excellence. You just have to be patient, right? One of those talents, that Mivy, is 1,200 hit points. If I could just get him spotted and he explodes, that's you know, there's my mark right there. That's my goal. So I'm just going to sit here and be patient and hope that my team can shoot things, and we just wait. I'm going to sit and wait. And, you know, the Artie is at least doing the thing, so we're getting a little bit of that. But again, I anticipate that these guys are going to probably, yeah, somebody else is spotting the KV2. That's okay. But we just sit here and wait. And you'd notice a lot of times, you'll probably see, if you've ever played this map before, people will sit in this bush a lot. I am intentionally not sitting close to the rock, because if somebody knows, like somebody on the enemy team guesses that there's a scout here, right? They're like, why do I keep getting spotted? They're going to shoot here. They're probably going to try to shoot next to the rock. So I'm not next to the rock. Well, I am now, lol. But for a while there, I wasn't next to the rock because I didn't want to give them an easy way to guess where I was. But yeah, right now this is actually going okay, because I don't care. Like, the things are dying. There are things, there's like 3 tanks back there ready to shoot the things I have spotted. So that's 600 spotting right there. So I'm actually happy with this. It doesn't look like we're going to win the game, right? We have 6 tanks to their 9, but like, there's a firing squad lined up ready to shoot these things I have spotted. So I'm happy to just sit here and try not to get spotted as this all works out. Like, my goal here is to just milk the most that I possibly can out of this match, and that's it. That's, you know, if we lose, we lose, but there's only so much I can do. You know, my goal is to get the most spotting and the most assistance and the most damage possible, and when you do that, the wins will come, right? But if I were to just, like, so right now I'm not going to do anything aggressive. I don't want to get spotted. I'm going to hold my shot, because if there's, like, the only time I'm going to shoot is when I know that I won't get evaporated immediately afterwards. So if one of those guys gets down to a one shot, if one of those tanks dies and the other one's a one shot, then I'll pick the kills up, but because then it would be safe. But if, like, right now there's a Nashorn, that's something to shoot at here. But so, like, the T-34-85 is a one shot, but the Mivvy, I still don't want to get in a brawl with that Mivvy, because all he has to do is turn and look at me, and now I have a problem, right? So if he gets shot one more time, then I can pick up the kill. But I want to wait. I want to wait, because I right now he's a two shot. I don't want to have to shoot him twice. I want to shoot him once. Okay, he's not there yet, but I'm also not spotted, so this is all we're just gonna be patient, and hopefully the artillery can shoot him one more time. I've been spotted. I've just been spotted just now. I'm not sure what happened exactly, but doesn't matter. This Mivvy is not paying attention. I've now shot him. I had to shoot him 3 times. This is the thing. You don't want to take any risks you don't have to take. And now we're going to load HE, because the HE shells in this thing are actually pretty legit, especially against a lot of the softer targets that you find at tier 6, like this Nashorn. You know, because this tank carries a fair amount of ammunition, I don't have to worry about being stingy with ammo. So I'm going to load some HE for the Nashorn, and make him regret his decision to play that tank. Okay, and so now it is a one-shot SU-100 M1 and a Firefly on 600 hit points, and then 2 artillery. So at this point I'm thinking, okay, if those guys both cap, I have the speed to get back, and one of them is a one-shot. So I'm going to go see if I can't pick up one of the artillery, or maybe both of the artillery. Like, I've already kind of assumed that the game is over, right? So I might as well get some kills, get some damage, and we'll just see what happens. But this Hummel does me a big favor. I don't know what he's thinking, but yeah, we're going to go ahead and just... I think I tracked him again, or maybe I must have damaged an engine, because his tracks are intact, but he's just sitting there. And now there's the one on the cap, and I don't know where the M44 is, but it's fine. Like, we don't, now that there is one on the cap, I think I am going to go back and try to get the reset in, because, and I'm not going to go the same way as before. I don't want to be predictable, right? You have the mobility, you should use the mobility. So I'm going to get up, try to use the if I crest this ridge on the right side, if something happens, I can always dip down to the right and get away. So we're just gonna see what we can see, and I spot the SU-100 M1 getting up into what was probably meant to be an overwatch position. I get a shot into the, oh, here we go, there we go. So I got a free shot on him, pick up the kill, and now it's basically a 1v1. I need to use my mobility and my tank's ability to, like, I have gun depression, I have maneuverability that this Firefly doesn't have. And I mess up the shot, but that's okay. Like, this Firefly is shooting HE, which this tank doesn't have armor, but the Firefly, you really, like, I don't know, HE rounds are kind of a gamble, right? Especially, and you're seeing that now. I think if he would have shot, if he was shooting AP rounds, I think that this would have been a different engagement. But yeah, we ended, and I see where the shell tracer came from, so he's probably back at, like, what is that, K9. And so we're just like that, we basically turned this whole game around. I'm not really sure how this happened, but yes, it's you just, I don't know, they just kind of lined up. I mean, they didn't give it to me, right? But anyways, so now we just need to pick up this M44. But the game is not over, because it's definitely like an M44 can one-shot you. Like, he just has to hit me, and 290 damage is totally reasonable to expect from an M44. And I'm sure he's full hit points, so that means I have to shoot him, what, like 3-4 times? Maybe twice, at least twice. So I'm not sure if he's there, if he's up on the perch. He's up on the perch, but he's pre-aimed. I don't want to get close to him, because if I get close to him, he's going to run forward and shotgun me. And for those of you that are, somebody's in the chat asking about, you know, are you going to show this? Yes, I am going to show the video, and here it is. So if you were in this game, thanks for playing along. And the M44, I wasn't sure if he had backed up, or if he was back off the hill, or if he was baiting, and he was baiting. See, because he was not I'm still using the awesome HE rounds. He was trying to get me close enough so that wow, I mean, he almost did it. He almost got it so that I had to get close enough to him that he could shotgun me. Like, I don't know. Kudos to the M44 for playing that about as well as you could. All right, so at the end of the game, we ended up taking home 6 kills, 2,400 damage, and almost 2,000 spotting. And that got us an ace tanker, the spotter badge, the, what was that, the Pascucci's, a high caliber, a top gun, kind of the works, really. And that ended up getting 1,728 base XP, which is pretty sweet. And because I think we were spotting all of our own damage, so that's obviously since we were the spotter. And we didn't end up costing ourselves some credits, right? And we were down 8,000 credits, but you know, whatever. With games like this, even if I didn't have only premium rounds, like, I think most of the shots that I took would have penned anyways, right? There was nothing that, like, the T-34-85M shots were risky, but those also didn't go in. So I don't think that premium would have made any difference. But anyways, that is the game. And hopefully this encourages you guys to go and take your Super Chaffies out for a spin, because the tank is pretty fun. So, all right, that's it for me. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one. All right.